Wuthering Waves 3.3 was such a peak story. I cannot begin to express how good the story was. Wuthering Waves really cooked here. It was genuinely a phenomenal story. Like, let's think about it from start to end, okay? So we start off the story by looking at Hiyuki and learning a little bit more about her. So in her sea quest, we learn a little bit more about her and the incident that happened in Ano Anoshira, like her place. And the fact that she couldn't save anyone there, and the fact that she looks up to her sister, her older sister, and that's why she took up the mantle of being the Miko. And that story was a good intro into the core story of Lahori Roy, where we actually save Imet. And it was very, very well done. Because I know some people out there. I saw some people on Twitter and stuff like that. You know how people are on Twitter. They're like, "Why was the point of the story? Like, why couldn't we just directly get into the meat of the story? Why did we even have the sea quest?" But I feel like it was very important because it gave us context into Hiyuki, and she was forming the whole quest. So in the quest, we are of course with the Grand Master of the overseer of, I guess, of the Fraxidus, and she shows up, and then she's making us walk through all the memories of Rover. And she's making Hiyuki compare herself to Rover because they're both saviors in their own way. And then she basically, I guess, like wants to start a conflict maybe between Rover and Hiyuki because Hiyuki feels like she's inferior to Rover because Rover's selflessly doing all these things just to like help and save everybody. But then here she is doing the same things, but she still can't get the results that Rover does. Rover is pretty much saving everyone without any incidents, and she couldn't save the people in Enoshira. And she feels a lot of regret over that. And I kind of felt really bad for her throughout the story. And then the moment at the end of the quest where I guess the overseer asks her to join the Fractidus and asks her to be a Trinodan Resonator, and she declines, saying that she doesn't want to go down that route. It was phenomenal. She just ore farming the whole time. It was by far one of my favorite moments in that quest. And of course, now the core meat of the story, which is the actual story where we save Imet. That was a good story from start to end. Also, we saw a lot of the moments played from the pre-release trailers into the story. So we saw the deployment of the Dusk Whale, etc., and we saw all those topics come up. And the atmosphere they created in the story was phenomenal, I'd say. So the music was hitting at the right moment. It had played the right music every step of the storyline. All the characters we saw since 3.0, Lene, Luke, Sigurika, Chisa, literally everyone, Lucilla, everyone showed up and played their own parts in the story. And the environment, like I said, the music created a very eerie environment, especially towards the middle of the story where we saw the alarms going off in the space trek, and then it kind of like created like this sense of urgency, and I really enjoyed that because it made the whole experience a lot more cinematic and a lot more involved. Like I literally could not take my eyes off the screen. Like I didn't even go for a bathroom break to be honest for that whole 3 4 like I think about 3 hours of quest story quest. I didn't use to go to the bathroom one time. I was literally so locked in, and I feel like just because of the music and the environment they created, I did not feel like leaving or stepping away from a single moment of dialogue. Like every single line the character spoke felt like it was relevant to the story. And there are other gacha games where the stories don't feel like that. And I feel like that's what made Wuthering Waves special. And they've been improving this patch after patch, where every dialogue feels like it's important and relevant to the story. It doesn't, nothing feels like it's not meant to be there. You know? And we have to talk about the cutscenes. The cutscenes are phenomenal. From the first cutscene where Emmett pushes us out when you try to go in with the Exostrider. And I did at first we didn't understand what was going on. Like we saw this throaty hand come out, and of course, based off the trailers and references, I kind of figured out it was Denny was probably doing that. But we got kicked out and forced out, and then the other cutscenes with the Exostrider, every single cutscene was like very well animated, very well done. And this brings me to the moments where we were with Denia and like that whole boss fight. That was a really good experience too. And we learned a little bit more about Hyuki during that quest. And I feel like there's still a lot more I want to learn about Hyuki. I feel like there's still one other part of the story I still have to do. It just ties into Hyuki, I believe, which we have to do after the main story quest. So I'll be doing that too. And maybe make a follow-up video on that if I feel like I need to. But it was very interesting because Hyuki, she feels very close connection to her sister, right? And she feels a lot of regret over that, like I've established. And I just feel like that's the reason why she wants to help Rover because she knows that Rover sees Imit as a family, and she knows the loss of like losing a family member, and she wants to make sure Rover doesn't really experience experience that himself. And that's what like kind of made her relationship with Rover really special to me. And also, I guess the final last one I want to touch on is the boss fight. That boss fight was very well made. Like at first when I heard that we'd be fighting Black Hole like it's Trinity and Resonator, I was like, how are they gonna even animate this fight? Like how are they gonna make do this fight? It was like I couldn't envision how we'd fight a little black hole. But the way they did it where the Trinodian, the Alpha one had its own, I guess, like mech that is piloting, and it was like a mech versus mech fight. It was so anime coded. It was like so Gundam, Darling in the Franxx, um, 86. It was like it was so anime mecha coded. It was so good. I literally felt like I was piloting a Gundam while fighting that fight, and it was so good. Like just going, and the music was going crazy during that fight. Like I cannot tell you how good that music was. The Heart of the Warrior Boy is the track from behind that, and it was so good. There's like some moments there where I just wanted to pause and just listen to the music, and I kind of did that for a little bit too, and it was very good. It made the fight a lot more special, and overall, I'd say it's a very enjoyable patch and very enjoyable story. I feel like this is one of the best stories they've made in Wuthering so thus far, and I am expecting a lot more from them in the future, and we'll see where they things go from here. And I feel like the stakes are only going to get higher, because in the story we learned that the Fraxis wanted to establish and create like a Trinity resonator, which Denny was supposed to be one, but she's kind of like quote unquote seen as like a failure now, like a failure failed project. So maybe in future storylines, when you go down to New Federation, etc., I feel like you might counter like another Trinity resonator in the future that might be even stronger than Denia and one that's actually quote unquote complete. And I feel like stakes are only gonna get higher for me. We saw Cristoforo again. I hate that dude with a passion. Fuck him. Um, but yeah, I mean overall, I have nothing bad really to say about the story. I feel like it's the perfect length. There's no excess, so it didn't feel too short or too long. I probably could have preferred it to be a little longer, to be honest, just so it could expand a little bit more on characters such as Hyuki that had more screen time, etc. But overall, it was very satisfactory beginning to head, the music, everything. And like I said, I hope to see more in the future, more from Kuro Games. I hope they keep cooking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know what you thought about this whole story quest, guys. And I encourage anyone who hasn't played it yet to go in without spoilers and just enjoy the story because it is a phenomenal conclusion. And yes, for those of you who are asking and wondering, we did save Imit. We did save her daughter. So, yay! Thank you guys.